My buddy Jared gave me one bar, and it was so good I took another, and there are these great masks with Vicks in them, and the smell is out of this world, and I think I fell down, but I'm not sure. And because I was like I saw like this star coming at me.
I have a kid nearing that age. Do you think it makes me feel comfortable, feel good that paramedics like you are on the streets? I just hope nothing like this ever happens to my kid, especially on your shift. My kid is nearing that age. I hope I never have to see this from a parent's perspective, but if I did, you're the one I'd trust. Compliments from me don't get any better than that.
Well, he's been getting weaker for days, and he doesn't want to eat. He's been coughing for a month, and he's diabetic also, and he was trying to get to the commode chair when he fell, and I'm just not strong enough to pick him up. Plus, he seems a little out of it, and I thought he probably needed to go to the hospital.
You know, the elderly often suffer from below-average care. Here we try not to follow that trend, so next time you go out, make sure you offer nothing but the best. You did well. Unfortunately, the elderly often suffer from below-average care, but you provided the best. That's what I like to see. Keep it up.
We were watching the big game and eating in the living room because Mom wasn't home to say no. Dad was stretched out on the couch eating a hot dog, and he started choking. I tried to help him, but he was frantic and too big for me to help. Please help my dad. Come on, you guys, please help.
An airway obstruction is no laughing matter. I don't care what the situation is. You find a way to do your job no matter what. No excuses. I heard that one come in over the dispatch. There's nothing more daunting than a large patient who's choking. I knew you'd do just fine. Hope you didn't strain anything.
Look, I just started bleeding, and there's just so much of it. I'm really dizzy, and the baby doesn't seem to be kicking as much as normal. Please help me.
If you keep this up, you can kiss that gold patch goodbye. Maybe you better start thinking about another profession. You may be on vacation from this one permanently. You know what? If you keep this up, there's a gold patch in your future, for sure. I might even give you a vacation, but I wouldn't count on it.
I didn't even see the car coming. I feel so stupid. I should have stayed off the streets. I just started and I thought I could go out there and do it, you know? It just looks so easy.
Your partner said you had 2 left hands out there. I don't like hearing bad news. It makes me very unhappy. And when I'm unhappy, you, my friend, are miserable. Now you get out there and make it up to me fast. That was good work you did. That kind of work makes me happy that I brought you on board. And you know when I'm happy, you're happy. Now get back out there. People need you.
I'd eaten a nice big lunch about 2 hours ago, and I got these stabbing pains in my stomach. I didn't eat anything out of the ordinary. Oh, these are really bad. I was afraid maybe I was having a heart attack or something, so I figured I'd better call you.
Well, this pretty much speaks for itself. Your patient was in pain and feeling miserable, and you did little to alleviate that. The only thing that really matters is that the patient gets better. Remember that. I heard your patient was eternally grateful to you. Now, that's the best kind of feedback I can hear. You know, I can heap all the praise in the world on you, but it's how the patient feels that matters.
I have asthma, but it's not usually this bad. I'm a realtor, and I was showing a house, and I got these sudden pains in my chest, and I can't breathe, and I don't know what's wrong. Please help me.
You know what? I heard you got lucky. Well, we don't depend on luck here. We depend on skill, fast assessment, and swift execution, if you get my drift. I hear your quick work saved that patient's life. That's the kind of thing I like to hear. We'll get back out there. There's more lives to save.
I'm 2 months away from my due date. I woke up from a nap with this terrible pain, but it doesn't feel like contractions. Help me.
These cases are always scary, but there's no excuse for substandard care. I mean, I wish there was a way for incompetent paramedics to go through what their patients go through. Maybe then they would be more careful. You know what I hear? I hear the mother is so grateful she's thinking of naming the baby after you. Should I buy you a cigar?
I'm the nurse on duty. Usually her inhaler works. This time it didn't seem to be working, so we called you.
I heard that did not go well. I heard the patient was borderline hysterical after your treatment. I don't like hearing these things. They don't make me happy. Now leave and do something that'll bring me good news. I heard you did well with that one. Heard you made good decisions and kept the patient calm. Heard you basically did everything right. I like hearing good things about my staff. Let's continue with this trend.
Ow! Ah! Oh, I didn't think you'd ever get here. Please make it... Oh, it's getting worse again. Please, make it stop. Oh, feels like a knife in my back, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
You should know by now these cases always look worse than they are. A true paramedic is always able to make a good assessment and act accordingly. Get it together. These cases always look worse than they are, but you kept your wits and didn't overreact. That's a sign of a true paramedic. You should be proud of yourself.
This guy was sleeping when the fire broke out. When he woke up, he found he was trapped and started yelling for help. By the time we got to him, the flames were practically on top of him. He's burnt pretty bad in some places, and he inhaled a lot of smoke, and he's one of the luckier ones. Apartment fires are the worst.
The patient's been airlifted to the burn center, but after your shoddy patient care, I don't know if they stand a chance. Maybe you need to think about taking some time off. The patient's been airlifted to the burn center. They'll be there shortly with time to spare thanks to you. That was outstanding the way you handled that.
He didn't mean to. I dared him to do a swan dive, but I didn't think he'd really do it. I mean, the pool's empty. It was a joke. He's my brother. Did I kill him? Is he okay? Please don't let my parents know we were drinking. We don't usually do this. You've got to believe me. Could I go to jail for daring him? He's over here.
I know it seems like people take life for granted. I know sometimes it feels like you're just spinning your wheels. But none of that matters. Why? Because we have a job to do. You need to realize that and make sure it shows every time you go out there. I just hope this kid isn't worse off than before. Well, you did everything you could for that kid. Let's hope it turns out for the better. Sometimes it really seems like people take life for granted out there, doesn't it? I know at times it seems like you're spinning your wheels, but rest assured, your job is important. And you do make a difference.
My husband hasn't been feeling well for about 24 hours now. I thought it was just a cold, but last night he ran a really high temp. It seemed to break about an hour ago, and about 10 minutes ago he started jerking and shaking. Is he having a seizure?
This case was pretty basic. There was no need for you to complicate it. Maybe you need a refresher course. Your calm attitude and professional conduct made this situation much easier. Good work.
I only left him in the living room for a second. That's all it was. I didn't even hear anything. I just came back in and saw him lying there. I didn't even know what was wrong at first. I came back in the house. I heard my daughter scream. Oh my God, I think he's not breathing. Please save my son.
You must be out of your mind to handle this case the way you did. Did you forget how to do your job? Maybe you should review your job description again. Maybe you should tattoo it to your forehead backwards so when you get up and look in the mirror in the morning, you can see what it is you're supposed to do every day. Looks like the kid is going to be just fine. I bet it wasn't pretty when you got there. Hysterical mothers are always hard to contend with, I know. But your focus and single-minded determination is what made it happen. Congratulations. You saved a kid's life today.
When we went to bed at midnight, he was fine.
Of course he was fine, and he always wakes up at 2 a.m. for a feeding, but tonight he didn't. I woke up and the clock said 3.
So we knew something was wrong. I ran in here and we found him not breathing. We've been doing CPR, but I think I'm doing it wrong. It doesn't seem to be working.
Just get in there and save my baby.
Look, I know the case seemed hopeless when you got there, but you always, hear me, always give it everything you've got. That way, at the end of the day, you can go home and know that no one went down because you didn't try hard enough. Otherwise, a question will linger in your mind forever. Believe me. This is as bad as it gets. You know, I know how you're feeling. I've been there more times than I care to tell you, but it's different with the gangbangers and the drunk drivers, but babies. It's like they never even got a chance. Listen, you did everything you could. Sometimes it's just time for them to go. I'm sorry.
I have this allergy to bees, and I'm supposed to carry this needle thing, but I ran out, and I think I'm going to pass out. Whew.
What can I say? I mean, this case is about as simple as it gets. You shouldn't even have to think about it. Maybe that's your problem. Too much thinking and not enough action. What should I say? You knew what needed to be done and executed it beautifully, as if you really needed me to tell you, right? But just for the record, you did well.
It's my wife. I was just talking to her a minute ago and she just collapsed, and I don't think she's breathing. You can't let her die. In here. Come in here.
If this patient doesn't do well, you should know it was at least partially due to your care. What were you thinking? You need to be on the ball at all times. He did an excellent job. It feels good, doesn't it? Saving someone's life gives you the warm and fuzzies. Don't worry. You'll have plenty of opportunities to do that again.
This guy looks bad. Funny, usually the person being T-boned is worse off. No seatbelt, hit the steering wheel. I don't know if he's going to make it. Do your magic, people.
The elderly are fragile enough as it is. They can't afford to have someone like you tripping up when they need it the most. This patient is going to spend months recovering from this thanks to you. That was a rough one. The elderly are so much more fragile. They take longer to recover, but rest assured, your care will help the patient recover as fast as possible. Good work.
I don't know what came over me. I was just doing my morning medication rounds at the school here, and I suddenly became dizzy, and my heart is racing, and I just don't know what's going on.
Did you take something this morning that made you forget all about your training? Huh? What's wrong with you? That was not even close to the caliber of treatment I expect from you. That was a walk in the park, huh? Might not feel like it, but you sure made it look easy. That's a sign of a veteran, when you start to make them look easy. Keep it up. You might be as good as me someday.
Witness was behind the victim and said it looked like he had dropped the cell phone, went to pick it up and swerved into the support over the overpass. Witness pulled over and called us with his cell phone. Then we called you guys. Cell phones. They can take your life or save it. Messy case.
Now, I know this was a hard one. I know some of these procedures make even some of the most veteran paramedics squeamish, but you still need to do your job. People's lives are in your hands. Get it? That's the bottom line. Well, well, well. Heard you had to do a difficult procedure out there today. Exhilarating, huh? You have a lot to be proud of. Without your help, that patient would be dead, and that's the bottom line. I'm glad to have you on this team.